Well, it says I'm live, but I can't see myself. Hello. Hello, little phone. Can you see me? Orientation is locked. Hello? Can anyone see me? End stream. Cancel. Oh, good grief. This Mercury retrograde sucks so bad. That doesn't work. Okay, can you see me? I cannot see myself, but I can see the comments, which is great. And let's see. Okay, good. You can see me. That is so weird. Well, I don't need to see myself. So let's do a quick read for today before we jump into this amazing thing that I discovered. And Jeannie, if you've already tried this, let me know, because it is absolutely fascinating. And I finally figured out why Robert Camp said that the King of Clubs is like the ultimate card for the cards. Let me know if you figured out why that is true. It's not just because it's at the center, because the Ace of Diamonds is also at the center. Maybe it's 26 because that matches our chromosomes. I don't know. But anyway, here's the quick read for today so that you won't be bored while we're waiting. Six of Clubs. I just sent a report to the Six of Clubs at the coffee shop today. Five of Diamonds. That's because Jeannie's here. And the Nine of Diamonds, which is her karma card. And Planetary Ruler. I forget, are you in Aries? Queen of Clubs at the bottom. So long range card, Six of Clubs. This means everything's just clicking along today. Everything that happens is just kind of karmically in your path. And the beauty and the benefit of that is that things tend to go pretty smoothly. Let's see, do I need to tip it up so we can see my face better? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, everything's just kind of appointed and just go with the flow kind of thing. Even if it involves, you know, anything negative, that's adjustment and balance. Five of Diamonds in Pluto means there may be a shift today, a changing of gears in terms of what's really the most important thing to happen here. So I was going to go to yoga today, blah, blah, blah. And then I finally had a conversation with my web guy. My new site is live. Yay! It's still under construction, but go to itiskismet.com and you'll see a whole new thing. And I just sent him 52 emails with 6 documents each so that he can get the reports loaded up into the site so people can just automatically get them in their email. So anyway, that was a really big task, and it was like a change of values. It's like, okay, this is the more important thing. So for about an hour and a half, I was just at the coffee shop, email. I see it as the cardinal part of the fractal of God. God is the King of Spades, and God is the club, is the omniscience. That's interesting. Okay, Jeannie's answering the trivia question that I have for today. Why, oh, God is the King of Clubs. Okay, why does Robert Camp say the King of Clubs is some kind of quintessential card of the deck? It has to do with when you add all of the suits together, like all of the Four of Diamonds add up to blah blah blah, which means blah blah blah. I'm not giving you too much here. Hi, Lucy. The result card of today's reading is the Nine of Diamonds, which is there's going to be a completion of some kind. Yeah, I had a huge sigh of relief after I did that because my site officially relaunched on, yeah, it's your ruler and your karma card. So Jeannie's going to figure in bigly to this reading. I just know because she's the composite queen. What was I going to say? Shoot. It'll come to me. But anyway, oh yeah, so I officially launched Lucy, it's in the title. And it's kind of convoluted, but I'll get there. I'm just doing an initial reading. Let me know your birthday if you're not a bot. Okay. So I relaunched on the Three of Diamonds because the date was 7/1/2, which is my initials, numerologically, PJK. And also because the Three of Diamonds is my ascending Mars card. So I was like, oh my God, today's the day. So I messaged him. He's in Dubai. And I'm like, it's got to launch today, even if it's not complete. Okay, what's the card on the bottom? Okay, Lucy, thank you. October 26th. Okay, the Queen of Clubs is on the bottom of the deck, which means today is a day of curiosity, knowledge, organizing our information, which is what we're doing today, if not being a little impatient. Okay, so October the 26th is the same as November the 24th, December the 22nd. I think that is the 10 of Hearts. Yeah, I think that's the 10 of Hearts. That would be the same as July 31st. No, I think I have that wrong. Do I have my book handy? Yes. Somebody tell me. Okay, so October the 26th is the 9 of Hearts. Planetary rulers, because you're a Scorpio, you get 2, ruled by Mars and Pluto, the Queen of Spades and the King of Clubs. That is a whopper of a card. How do you even manage being yourself, Lucy? That I've read for this birthday before, and they've got a lot going on. There's a very strong sense of authority and power and centeredness about them, but they've also got a lot of things to sort out in terms of personal development, and they know it. They have a calling to self-mastery with that Queen of Spades. So very competent energy. Right on. Okay, so I left off with the 5 of Diamonds. Let's start with the 5 of Diamonds, since that's Jeannie's card. So when you add all of the 5s together, which, okay, the 5 of Spades, I'm only going to do this once, and then I'm just going to go straight with numbers. If you can't follow me, don't worry. Blah, blah, ginger until we get to the content. It's my process. 44 is the 5 of Spades. 31 is the 5 of Diamonds. 18 is the 5 of Clubs, and 5 is the 5 of Hearts. When you add that all together, you get 98, which composites to 8, just in numerology. And I came up with this phrase: flexibility is power. So if all the 5s add up to a number that comes to 8, what it's saying is that the ability to be flexible and change is what really leads to true power. I love that. Okay, so then you subtract 52 until you get down to a number under 52, and it comes to 46, which is the 7 of Spades, which is in your hand, right? Change is perfection of faith and adjustment seeking perfection. Adjustment seeking perfection. Okay, Jeannie left a big long text here. Following our intuition, Queen of Clubs, while letting go of, she's summing up the reading for today. Following our intuition while letting go of limiting beliefs, 9 of Diamonds, and allowing ourselves to go with the flow that comes from the heart and protocol purpose, because the hearts and spades were missing. I love that. Great summation. Okay. Cheryl, when is your birthday? Okay, so now let's look at the 6s. You meant spiritual purpose. Okay, yeah, let me look at that again. That comes from the heart and spiritual purpose. Go with the flow that comes from the heart and spiritual purpose. Okay. All right, so the 6s, you add 45, 32, 19, and 6. And so let's just say, okay, what is the work of the 6? The 6 is work, purpose, destiny, karma. And they're helpers. And that adds up to 102, which reduces to 3. So the end point of all balance, working, karma, and destiny is achievement or creativity or art. So the act of finding balance through the flow of karma is true achievement. Like, it's like, what work is, it's balancing your karma. Okay, so when you reduce it, you get to 50, the Jack of Spades. How is the Jack of Spades the end point of all karma? Well, what do you think? So, Jeannie, sum that up. How is the Jack of Spades the end point of karma? Finding balance, resolving karma. Okay, she's coming up with hers. I'll read you mine. Destiny is spiritual initiation. The work of doing your karma is that you yourself will be transformed by it. Caesar, hey. Cheryl, okay, April 22nd. That is the... Okay, if you know somebody with the birthday of March 24th, you have the same card, which I think is the 8 of clubs. April 22nd. Oh, no, sorry. Queen of clubs, 5 of clubs. March 24th, yeah, Queen of clubs. I was thinking of the 28th, 8 of clubs. Okay, so Queen of clubs, that was our environment card for today. So the Queen of clubs, I love them. God bless them. Their love language is managing and controlling everybody else's life because they probably know better. If you know a Queen of clubs, respect what they have to say and tell them, just relax. It's all gonna work out. You do you, and I'll do me. They're the organizers of information. They're highly sensitive. They're very attuned to everyone in the room and everything that's going on. They have very sensitive, alive nervous systems that they have to figure out how to regulate. They're also very nurturing. With this intuitive ability, they can anticipate what you need. They're very sensitive. You have to be very careful how you talk to them. The men are very different. Male Queen of clubs, what do I do with all that sensitivity? Sometimes it goes backwards. Sometimes it goes in reverse. And most odd-carded men will identify with the king personality card, the king of their suit, or the jack. So they'll more likely identify with the Jack of Clubs, and there may be some integrity issues. The King of Clubs is kind of arrogant and condescending. That's in the negative. But anyway, moving on. Okay, Jeannie says, it's the spiritual initiate, okay, the Jack of Spades. How is the 6, how is all the work of being a 6 capitulated into the Jack of Spades? That's the question she's answering. It's the spiritual initiate. It's where we learn and decide how to use our power if we chose which god to feed. Oh, I like that. Hi, Steve Morton. When's your birthday? The Jack of Spades is also 50, which reduces to 5, so it is subject to change. Very good. 5s and 6s, all numbers that are right next to each other, are always having a conversation, and sometimes they resemble each other. And you're like, wait, I thought 6 was like stability and 5 is change. Well, see how they go together? 4s and 5s. 4 is stability and foundation, which you have to have first before you can have meaningful change. And when you get bored, you want to change. It's your birthday. Oh, my birthday is February 4th. 8 of spades. Same as Karen Carpenter, right? 8 of spades. Okay, we're going to do 7s and then we'll get to 8s, and tell me if it resonates with you. Okay, 7 is the number of perfection. So you add, all of the 7s are 46, 33, 20, and 7. And you get 106, which adds up to 7. The other number that does this, that adds up to itself, is the ace. I love that the 7 does this. because the end point of perfection is perfection. Alignment to spirit. It sits in the middle of all of the numbers. And so it's not trying to balance somebody out. When it speaks as the prophetic voice to power, it doesn't care about power. It just, oh, hit the like button if you would. I'm trying to get my view count up. Like it goes way up and then way down and way up and way down. And I think it's a bot thing. They're kind of fucking with my channel. But anyway, because I had 25,000 views a while back. So anyway, the sevens adding up to 7, the Aramaic word that Jesus uses when he says, be perfect, as my heavenly Father in heaven is perfect. The word actually means all embracing or all encompassing. So it's like total acceptance, but it's also total love and compassion. So if we think of that as perfection, it goes down a little easier, right? Our egos love to tell us what perfection is, but anyway, so then that reduces to 54 to 2, the 2 of hearts. Perfection is embracing love, intimacy with God, self, and the other, connection. I am loved. What is all perfection seeking but love? To be loved, to be embraced, to be in relationship, even if it's just with the self. So you can ask any 7, what's your relationship to your self-talk? How are you with yourself? Have you figured out how to ease up on the judgment yet? And they'll all be like, oh my God. The 7 of spades, meanwhile, is busy judging everybody else. I've nicknamed it the righteousness card. They have a high priest potential, though. Okay, I teach my little Jack of Spades child that he can manifest anything, so they have to have discernment from his experience because they have one eye and can decide to be blind to consequences. So yeah, the Jack of Spades is pictured with one eye. The 7s are like the cardinal form of the Joker card. I've thought of this too. That's interesting. There's a transcendent quality to the 7, and I always think of the Joker as being transcendent because it's the 0 card, right? And the 2 of hearts is linked with the Ace of clubs, so they seek understanding. Exactly, there is a restless negative ion seeking energy that always goes with the 7, but pretty much any odd card. They're always like, what's next? Very stimulating to be with them. They're the most unhappy when there's kind of like nothing going on or nothing to do. It's like empty space. How do I fill this? What do I do? They're typically ADD, very curious and in motion. They need stimulation. Whereas an even card is going to be what they're going to enjoy the least is when there's upset and change and irregularity. And it's like, oh, how do I do? I need everything to be planned out and predictable. And I had 2 children who were, well, they're not children anymore, but so I have 2 offspring. One is a Jack, which resonates to the number 11, and the other is an 8. And the 8 would just get totally dysregulated. We go for a bike ride, and I wouldn't know where we were going, how long we were going to be gone, when we were going to get home. And that just drove her nuts. And I was like, whoa, back up here. She needs something completely different. It never occurred to me. I was like, don't all children just want to play with kind of an open-endedness, It's like, not this one. If you have an even or odd difference with your children, you're really going to feel that in terms of what do they need to regulate. Jeannie says, they fill the empty space with worry, and worry turns into doubt, so grounding is essential for the 7s. Check. 8s. Okay, so Steve, if you're still listening, 8 of spades is the 47th card. So we add 47 to 34 to 21 to 8, which adds up to 110, and it comes to 2. So I think it's interesting that the 2 and the 8 have a relationship like this. Let's see, what is the 2? I did this 2 days ago, and it was a really strange day energetically. Yeah, the 2s add up to the 8 of diamonds. Numerologically, they add up to 5. Pairing is change. And remember how, yeah, never mind. So the 2s and 8s in the Enneagram goes 1, 4, 2, 7, 5, 8, which is this sacred number thing with the cards. It creates this star, and the 3, 6, 9 are in their own thing. But when an 8 is healthy, they go to a 2. When a 2 is unhealthy, they go to an 8. 2s, and the Queen of Clubs resonates to that number, even if they're a 3 of hearts karma card. They're the really relational ones will go to control. That's why I said sometimes they want control is their love language. But anyway, talking about 8s, they're advocates. So what are they really about? Oh, I have this all written out. I did this on a whole beer. I was just like, my husband was in a really boring meeting, and I was like, how am I going to amuse myself? So I had a deck of cards, and off I went. Played solitaire, laid them all out in order, and saying, what can I do with this? So anyway, power, really, the 8 is when it's in service, it wants to be an advocate and help others. Use its power, use its voice to help others to make the world a better place. So they're really, in essence, deeply relational. Tell us about your 8 of diamonds, Jeannie. Do they have a fundamental need to connect? It's like, I think it's so primary that it's understated. It's like understood, supposed to be understood. They can seem very Mars oriented in terms of where they're going, but the 8 of diamonds is ruled by Jupiter, which is generosity and expansion. For 7s, the worry can be replaced by faith in a nice balance with practicality. Very good. Yeah, I like that. And you're right next to a 7, so you get that 7 energy. And it also gives them a fine-tuned kind of intelligence, a sensitive, highly wired nervous system, and they get along well with that Queen of Clubs. I have a lot of Queen of Clubs in my life. Okay, so what card do the 8s reduce to is the 6 of Hearts. True power is in being in the flow of purpose, loving destiny, balance. I am aligned with purpose and flow. So the 8s, what reins them in and what makes their power really effective is when they're playing inside the lines. Well, the rebel and it's sometimes that's a really useful archetype, of course. When we get to the jacks, you'll see that's a very cool formula. But power unchecked is dangerous and chaotic, and a lot of people get damaged in the wake of it. So I think what this is saying is true power is understanding the purpose of your power. It's like with great power comes great responsibility. 8, 6. True power is being in the flow of purpose. I am aligned with divine purpose and flow. Okay, 9s. Okay, so Steve, I don't know if you're still with us. Tell us how that feels. If you're an 8, tell me. Jeannie says, my 8 of diamonds needs to be seen. They summon me every 2.5 minutes for validation. They're also ruled by the King of Spades, so they want to show that they have mastered or made progress with every step of the way. That's so cool. Yeah, and the ability to respond. Nathan, thank you. Yeah, responsibility. Okay, so 9s. 9s are about completion, right? That I love how you said summon. They summon me every 2.5 minutes to be like, look what I did. They're very relational. I've never really thought about that. This whole thing kind of unlocks kind of a lot of essential energy under the cards, which I just love. I've been so excited for Jeannie to participate with this. This is great. And there's a 6 of Clubs energy today. I know it's not the 6 of Clubs. Somebody tell me what it is today. Anyway, 9s are about completion, harvest, ending. You add 48, 35, 22, and 9. You come to 114, which reduces to 6. So the energy of the 9, this completion and everything, is like, well, there's a timing to it. When you've had an ending, once you get past the shock of it, you're like, oh, it was the right time. Isn't that always the case? It was karmic. It was in the flow. It reached its completion. You know, a relationship, a job, project, an animal, a person. Okay, so when you reduce it down, it comes to the 10 of hearts. Okay. Completions equal happy reunions. Okay, so when you die, you go be with your big happy family, the 10 of hearts. But let's go a little deeper. It's, yeah, happy reunion, bliss, heaven, wedding. I love everyone. We transcend, when you're completing something, you come into and Jeannie helped me with this, the 10 of hearts. You expand into kind of a oneness, I see the big picture now. It's those moments in life when you reach the top of the hill, you're at the summit, and you're like, oh, I see the path I took. I see all the travails I went through. I see why I had to take that sharp turn where there was a delay. That's where my horse got stolen, which kept me from getting into this flood over here. And you can trace your whole path, and you go, I see the completeness of it. Tens are completeness, and also, like, it's a new beginning, but it's like the completion of the journey to make a new start. So I like that nines roll over into a one, a new beginning. Okay, their composite card is themselves, the Eight of Diamonds. So I have to show them that it's okay to have power, but also there is responsibility and not to manipulate. Now that is a challenge big time. Right, because the King of Spades planetary ruler plus the Eight of Diamonds birth card ends up being the Eight of Diamonds. The King of Spades acts like a nine. It just reinforces, it reflects that energy back to you. And I always wondered, why does my mom, who was a King of Spades, why is she so different with each of my siblings, with every person? I mean, her funeral was just kind of like, wow, getting 52 different reflections of that's who my mom was. I imagine that was hard to know who she was sometimes. It's the same as being a nine, which I am. I have to follow through with when I say something so that they learn consequence and make better choices. Oh, that's hard, especially for a Five of Diamonds, right? But you got the juice to do it because you have that Queen of Spades in your Mercury. Yes, the tens are starting over with the lessons learned from Ace to Nine. Yes, she's the mirror. That's why reflecting back who they are. Yep, King of Spades mirror. Okay, beautiful nine energy. Now we're going to tens. 10 means success, and like I just said, this whole completion thing, seeing the whole complete thing and beginning again with experience under your belt. 49, 36, 23, and 10 add up to 118, which reduces to 1. Well, it reduces to 10. I just had to point that out. 8 plus 1 plus 1. So the sevens, the aces, and the tens do this. They add up to themselves. And hard work is in all the lessons of the 10. Oh, right. The 10 and the 4 have, you see them appearing commonly as karma cards and in their hands and stuff, like the 10 of Spades and the 4 of Hearts, and the 10 of Clubs and the 4 of Spades. Does that mean that one of those cards has, well, hello. If you're just introducing yourself, tell us your birthday, and Jeannie and I will analyze you. No. Well, we'll give you a little rundown on your card. Okay, so, and get this. So the tens add up to 118, which reduces to a 1, and the card is 14. 1224, 7 of Hearts, planetary ruler, 9 of Spades. Ooh, that is just so challenging because the spade energy gives you this sense of substance and like the sage, it represents the elder. The heart is the child archetype. So the 7 of Hearts, it's a card of sensitivity. You're going to get screwed over in life. Your lesson is to forgive, let go, come into unconditional love. And you're in the Venus line, so it's all about people and relationships. And yeah, it's a challenge, but you also have to manage your power because you have an 8 as a karma card. So it's like, acknowledge your desire to control, no matter what the language of control is. That's a complicated 7, 8, 9 kind of triad you're working. Okay, so the tens add up to the Ace of Clubs. Success in all things is curiosity and narcissism. how many people who are chronically successful are narcissistic? I don't know, but success in all things, this big completion, big picture kind of thing. That's a little thinking guy? Okay, you're thinking about it. Good. Success in all things results in self-knowledge. I find success to be more challenging than failure, probably because I have less practice, less opportunity to practice. But success always gives me a sense of, oh, I feel so viewed. And so I have to think about, who am I? I'm not what they see, even though that's kind of seductive to go into that energy of celebrity, especially if it's a positive response. Well, pretty much only. But you have to work harder to holding on to yourself. So that's kind of an interesting way to look at all of that. Um, yeah, I think of the Ten of Clubs. Yeah, it's Mars, Pluto, Sun. It can show up as a hothead energy. Oh yeah, so I had to send off all 52 reports to my web guy. You can go to itiskismet.com and find a whole new world there. But when I got to the Ten of Clubs, these little taglines would come in, and I was like, no, just stick to business. He doesn't care what this card means, but I wanted to say the other asshole card. Jeannie's laughing because that's that's her baby daddy, right? That's the father of your babies. But those are all stubborn energies. Yeah, right, right. They do. And they have to have that strength because they often end up in really dysfunctional families where everybody is dysfunctional around them, and they're kind of the structure that holds it together, and they have to figure out how to extricate themselves and find their authenticity. So there's a 10 energy seeking the ace. Who am I really? So if we look at the Ten of Clubs, the Ace of Clubs is in its hand. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter. It's in its Jupiter. It's in its greatest benefic energy when it knows itself. Hey, here's our Queen of Clubs. I've been talking a lot about the Queen of Clubs because she was on the bottom of the deck today. So what's up, Dr. Sue? We're almost to you. So Jupiter intersection for the 10 of Diamonds, inflated ego energy, 10 of Hearts, expanded reaction because it's Jupiter, Mars. Yeah, there's a lot of Jupiter energy, like all 4 tens. I mean, not all 4 of them, but 4 tens, right, are represented in the Jupiter line. No, 3 tens and 3 aces, which all vibrate to the number 1. It doesn't cover all of them, but yeah, it's a tall order being a 10. I know. I did a whole thing on the 10 of Diamonds, a whole video. Just go look it up. You'll scroll around. You'll find it. So, moving on to jacks. I love jacks. Do you too? I love them so much. Okay. Okay, the jack is the rebel. We're just going to leave it at that. The rebel energies are 50, 37, 24, and 11. Which adds up to, guess what? 122, which reduces to 5. Change. Queen of Clubs says, has that Jack of Diamonds as my Jupiter and Ace of Spades as my moon this year. Wow, that's really cool. So the Ace of Spades, a real sense of selfhood, defined self, which is usually your Jupiter card, right? And Jack of Diamonds as your Jupiter, meaning expansion of business. How is that going for you? Okay, so change, being a rebel. This was so cool what came out, because not only does it add up to 5, but it reduces to 18, which is the 5 of Clubs. Change of heart, told you, haha, the jacks get the free pass with the 5 energy of change. It's true. They get to swim in this sea of freedom. They can be detached with that Uranus energy. They have a sense of freedom. My son Sebastian, even though he's very, very, very busy because he's very successful, Jack of Diamonds, running his own business, he's a mechanic, he has all the freedom that he wants to navigate the way he wants to navigate. And I reminded him the other day, I was like, you get to Create your own schedule. You get to call the shots. I want to remind him of that because Jacks have a lot of 4s in their hands. So they're like work, 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 structure. They have a lot of 6s too. So they're working on their karma. But Dr. Sue says, Ace of Spades, all secrets being revealed. Yes, like about your personal life, about yourself. There's a big purge going on energetically. It's very challenging. And yeah, I saw you made some kind of post. You were ranting about something, and I don't spend much time on Facebook, and I apologize. I didn't read through it. But yeah, energies have been so heavy and stuck, and like one day I just was unaccountably sad all freaking day. I think it was Sunday, or was it the day before? Anyway, I finally bounced out. That's why they get away with a lot, because they're not ever meant to fall for picking the wrong path, because the wrong path teaches them to appreciate the right one for them. Yeah, they get away with a lot. They get a free pass. It's like somebody has to get one, right? Why not the Jacks? Okay, so the relationship to change. Here is a really deep, profound thing that came through thanks to the beer and the energies and my card guides. Being a rebel supersedes the cause. Reinvention is awakening. The rebel becomes flexible. They are the rebel in any given situation, yet they themselves are changed. They themselves are transformed. And if somebody gets really stuck in a cause, they're not really being in that true Jack energy. It's like, yeah, be a rebel for a cause, but be a rebel, not the cause. So like you're really, really, excited about, like you want to go on a campaign that all children should learn to write in cursive. You're like, this is really important because we're learning some kind of, we're sacrificing some kind of brain function by not writing in cursive, so you get really passionate about it. But if you get so stuck in it that you can't move on, you're going to miss the next cause that goes floating by. So they need to remain kind of detached, and that's another thing about the Jacks, is that they can be pretty non-attached, and they're like, what needs change now? Who needs a rebel? I'm a rebel for hire. Okay, bye. Watching on the big screen, iPad needs charging. Okay. It was so, so nice to see you, Dr. Sue. Okay, let's look at the queens. And then we're going to get to our question about adding all of these values up together. It's probably some kind of mystical number, what it all adds up to. And I got it wrong first, but there was a lot of purpose in that, which I'll explain to you. Okay, the queen is the helper. Let's just leave it at that. That's why a lot of them are 2s. 51 plus 38 plus 25 plus 12 equals 126, which comes to 9. The queen has to evolve into a kind of 9 acceptance of everything. So my Queen of Clubs friend was dating a 7 of Hearts who was a 9 on the Enneagram, and his 9-ness would drive her crazy. But I said, what he's trying to teach you, what his basic essence is trying to teach you, is that you have to have a kind of live and let live energy, let go of the control. 9s are very good at just accepting everything that is. I mean, the evolved 9. Some, don't accept too much, but then, you go through your own formation, and then you're like, okay, I really do want my tranquility. But it's acceptance, but not naive acceptance. It's an awareness of all the suffering, difficulty, blah, 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 and you're like, acceptance anyway. So for the queens to get to that can be kind of hard. Okay, so it reduces down to, guess what? The 9 of clubs. So they're getting a double dose, just like the Jacks have a double dose of that 5 energy. The queens have a double dose of 9 energy. So the 9 of clubs helping is transcending knowledge. When you help, you volunteer for something, you show up, you're of service. To me, it is the death of all concepts, because you're not trying to work things out with your head anymore. You're deeply moved by the service that you've given. It's so meaningful. And 9 of clubs, it can also bring transcendent knowledge. You've done this act of service. You've been the helper. You shepherded, contained. The queens are the containers for other people. and then you yourself kind of transcend up to the next level. The 9 energy is ruled by Mars, and I'm not sure why that's true, but let me know. And I don't know if I resonate with that. So this helps the queens take action because they have to manage resources of their suit. Yeah, most queens I know are very action oriented, like almost excessively. Could we say queens are ruled by Mars? They have a huge Mars influence. Okay, the kings. Here we go, the final countdown. 52 plus 39 plus 26 plus 13. I just love all those numbers. Adds up to 130, which reduces to 4. Foundation. Mastery is foundation. It adds up to the 8 of diamonds. Who else added up to the 8 of diamonds? The 2s. And there is a relationship between 2s and kings, isn't there? Okay. And 3s and jacks. Anyway, so 8 of diamonds, mastery is the most important value. No compromise. So the 8 of diamonds and the kings, obviously there's a very compatible energy there, but maybe mastery leads to stepping down to be the advocate rather than look at me on top of everything. You step down and say, how can I help? How can I become the advocate? Because the 8 is more engaged with the world. The king is like ruling over groups and is more invested in just kind of moving through life as the king, you know, not necessarily in the nitty gritty. And the 8 is more in the nitty gritty. So I kind of like that. But also mastery, gaining mastery with, and you know, with the heart suit, mastery of love. You look at each one of the kings. So mastery of love is this kind of maturity that doesn't need to put its own needs first. It kind of looks at the big picture. All kings do that. The King of Clubs, acknowledging everybody else's viewpoint and having the confidence to speak up. The King of Diamonds, they're a real cheerleader of other people. The King of Diamonds, integrity. King of Spades, big sense of mastery, taking too much, most kings take too much responsibility, but anyway, 8s are also responsibility, but anyway, I'm just going to leave that there. Jeannie says, 9 of clubs sits Venus, Uranus. They bring what they have to offer and value to the collective. So that's going back to the queens. Venus, Uranus, they bring what they have. I like that. That sounds very queen. Yes, very relational and bringing some higher consciousness, the Uranus energy. 9 is Mars ruled number. In general, Mars severs its reason, but they can have many endings, but never stay down from those experiencing. It's a reinitiation in every ending. That sounds like some pretty deep stuff. Okay, when I added all the cards together, all of these values, it comes to 1,300 and something. And I reduced it down and reduced it down. And mind you, I had a whole beer in me by this time and was really feeling the effects. And the final composite card I came to was the Jack of Clubs. And I thought, oh my God, that's so hilarious. That's the cosmic joke. The final message of this work in this whole matrix of all these cards is have fun. Remember to laugh. Don't take it so seriously. But, oh, thank you, Jeannie. But what it actually reduces to is the King of Clubs. Which, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a simple way to say how it gets there, but when you subtract 52 from this total composite, which is 1,300, I wrote it down somewhere, 36, 1,336. Anyway, it does reduce to the King of Clubs. So, to me, that said, I mean, I'm not that fond of the King of Clubs. I think it means like being able to really, really see and understand the big picture. Consciousness is really what everything comes from. All the physical things that we create with the King of Spades, getting all of our ducks in a row, mastering our lives, that's all going to go away. What do we take with us? Consciousness. What created everything that's here? Consciousness. What manifests anything into your life? Consciousness. Maybe that's one reason he said it's the most important card, but we could say everything comes from consciousness, which really is the most empowering message of the entire cards, which kind of says, it's up to you. Everything is up to you. Here's the structure. These are the building blocks. These are kind of the rules you have to work with, but you can create anything you want. Jack of Clubs is Uranus, Venus, and a King of Clubs is Uranus, Uranus. It's the giving portal of information energy. I love that. And Uranus, Uranus location is so important. It's like, yeah, it's huge. It's huge. But where does the King of Clubs sit in the regular spread? It's Jupiter, Saturn. Jupiter, Saturn, expansion and contraction. That's pretty cool. It's the point that stands between the veil, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in and out. Yeah, oh, that's cool. Everything, yeah, it's like I see it as a mirror in space, and it mirrors like the ego side, and it mirrors the spirit side, and there it just kind of sits, floating around. Everything is frequency, Uranus, Uranus, literally frequency plus frequency. That's the power of the I am. That's really cool. I love that. I love that as a summation of adding up all the cards together. The composite is 26, which is the number of chromosomes I think we have. So that's very important. That's very important. Okay, so I'm done for today. This was really fun. And Jeannie, I was just hoping you would be here more than anybody, but I'm bummed we didn't get more viewers. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's because I've been really inconsistent, but I had 26,000 about a month and a half ago. So I have to keep remembering that, and that see that the shadow banning was God closing the door, because this is not my main thing. This is my fun thing. It's not a mirror, it's a web of possibilities guided by intention. Beautifully said. It's a web of possibilities guided by intention. Yeah. Okay. Well, have a really good day. You got to advertise it before going live so people know before. Yeah, and I only did this 2 days ago, so maybe if I have more lead time, and maybe make more posts, advertise, like actually go on Instagram and stuff like that. I deleted Instagram from my phone, and I've only missed it like twice, but yeah, I got to do more marketing. Anyway, I love you all, and have a really